Mr. 360 AB de Villiers, the Apat Bandhava, if I can say, for RC Villiers, delivers always.
Yeah, we would say that's a good one. I hope it's not his last tournament. I hope he continues to entertain not just RCB fans. I think when he goes out, I hope he goes out in front of Chinnaswamy Stadium with fans chanting ABD.
Right, he always wants to make that statement right in your face
Exactly.
and prove you wrong. Sharjah last time around, you remember that the MS Dhoni 6 that went into the outside the stadium into the road 11. We have Arjun Tendulkar. You expect to see a Tendulkar again in Mumbai Indians team?
Having Ricky Ponting, I think look what it has done for them. That winning culture, I think an Aussie having won every time. You see different sports. You see football. Jose Mourinho, wherever he goes, he's going to win a yo-yo test on the corner, or is it done?
Now that Virat has given up the captaincy, I don't think there's any yo-yo test again. Hi, hello, and a warm welcome to Cricket Trigger YouTube channel. It's that time of the year again where IPL is going to start. It seems like IPL is becoming a regular event every 6 months. We had one IPL last year in September in UAE. We had another IPL this year in March in India. And it's a continuation of the same IPL. In fact, the conclusion that's going to happen once again in Dubai. Don't forget, we have another IPL coming again in next year with all brand new teams. And apart from that, we have two T20 World Cups lined up back to back. One here in Dubai again in October and the next one in Australia. So get set for all T20 action and let's start today's session. I have with me Varun, the enthusiastic cricketer once again joining with me. Thanks Varun, joining with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so here is the recap of the points table. We currently have Delhi Capitals leading the table with 12 points. They've played one extra match. Chennai Super Kings, who are going to play the first match of this second half of the IPL, they have a chance to catch up with Delhi Capitals. They are currently placed in second spot. And surprise is RCB in the third spot. They don't usually start off well in the first half of the table, but this time around, they are placed third and followed by Mumbai Indians, the slow starters. Then Rajasthan Royals in the middle with 6 points. And the bottom is Punjab Kings, followed by Kolkata Knight Riders and Sunrisers Hyderabad with all that mess that they have created with the captaincy issues. Anyway, what do you think about the current standings, Varun?
I think it's a fair reflection. I think, and also that the fact that they played in 3 different venues, sort of 3 different stages, it has allowed some teams to come back after a bad start. You could see that a few teams like I think KKR, even Sunrisers, even though they struggled in places like Chennai, but it gave them an opportunity to play well in Mumbai and I think Delhi as well, Delhi and Ahmedabad. So I think it's a fair reflection. I think you can say the top 4 might well be the top 4 going into the playoffs.
Yeah. So these are the venues. There will be the same venues that was used the last time around. The Sharjah Cricket Stadium, known for its flat wicket, and then the Dubai International Stadium. It had good bounce last time around. And Abu Dhabi, the only ground that you can say that had some assistance for the bowlers as well. So Varun, in terms of the venues, don't you think it will be the similar conditions that we can expect last year, that we have the same conditions?
Yes, pretty much so, because I think it's the same part of the year as well, I think, and not much of cricket leading into it. So I think the wickets and as well as the climate, the weather conditions would be pretty similar. And I think only a little bit of difference would be that there has been the players have played a bit cricket, not like previously. I think IPL was sort of the start of the season. So I think in terms of the venues, I don't think you can expect anything drastically different. Sharjah, small ground, as you said, flat wicket. Won't be surprised to see 200s or a Rahul Tewatia innings by someone else. And Abu Dhabi, we all know what Mohammad Siraj did in that against KKR there. And I think Dubai as well had very close games. I think it had it had 2 super overs, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Super overs. No, I think it had the one run victory of Delhi over Mumbai, Delhi over or Punjab and Bangalore and Mumbai super over there.
Yeah, 2 super overs. I think Bangalore and Mumbai played 1 super over, and Punjab and Delhi also played a super over in Dubai.
Yeah.
And let me tell you my fondest memory of Sharjah last time around. You remember that the MS Dhoni 6 that went into the outside the stadium into the road? The ball went into the road and was collected by a fan.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can expect more such shots happening again with the tiny boundaries at Sharjah. Anyways, okay, let's look at the teams now. Let's start off with MI, the perennial slow starters. So although this is not a fresh season, it's a continuation of the first half of the IPL. This is the second half, but still it's a brand new start. But do you think Mumbai again will suffer with the same thing of the slow starters?
I think if you see the last couple of seasons, why they have been successful is that someone's going to put their hand up and play well. I think last year I remember I think Ishan Kishan against Bangalore, 99 from nowhere. I think they're way behind the game, and this year
Pollard against, it's got him into the World Cup also now.
Yeah, and Pollard against CSK. So I think someone's going to pick it, like star on that day. So I know they are slow starters, but now they know that they don't have that cushion of a 14-game tournament. There's a seven-game tournament. So I don't think the complacency will be a factor. I think they'll be up for the game.
So will it be interesting to see Rohit Sharma now that he's almost assured of the captaincy of T20? Yet there is no formal announcement from the BCCI, but he's set to take over. So how do you see Rohit approaching this season now?
Yes, I mean he's captain in the waiting now, but I don't think. I think the professionals they are. I think he's not a youngster, 23 or 24-year-old who's going to let his head spin around. For being in the contention of being the future Indian captain. I think he's far more experienced enough. So I don't think that's going to have a huge say on how he's going to perform.
And any surprise players that you are expecting to see breaking into the 11? We have Arjun Tendulkar. You expect to see a Tendulkar again in the Mumbai Indians team, or any other surprise inclusions in the playing 11? What about Chris Lynn? Do you see him making into the playing 11, or would they continue with Quinton de Kock?
I think sadly for Arjun Tendulkar, I think he'll have to wait for his time. When moving on, I think Quinton de Kock, I think will start. I think he's been in good form also of late, so I think he's going to play. I think Chris Lynn until and unless someone injures, I think this season I think he played the first game. I think played well against RCB, but then he had to make way for Quinton de Kock, and I don't think last season he played a single game for Mumbai Indians. I think he warmed the benches throughout. So I don't think he's going to be a sure starter unless there is any injury concern or anything like that.
All right. So apart from those one or two spots, I think Mumbai looks pretty settled, and they'll be focusing on repeating what they did the last time around. That is lift the trophy again. Okay. So let's move on. So we have next CSK coming up. So this is going to be a very interesting season now because last time they played in Dubai, they finished 7th, as you can see here. But again, coming back to India, they started off very well this time, and they're currently placed 2nd. Again, going back to Dubai now. I think this time they went in pretty early. I think they were the earliest of the teams to reach Dubai, and given the age of all their players, I think it was a wise move. So what do you think, Varun? Would they also be slow starters, or would they start hitting the ground early?
I think
can they continue the momentum?
I think the last season, I think definitely they did start off well, but they ended well. If you know, they beat RCB, they beat Punjab, and they did it very comfortably. So I think
Gaikwad came out of nowhere, scoring consecutive.
Exactly. Yes. I know. I think they started with Murali Vijay and Faf du Plessis, and it didn't go well. I think then they made the shift and it started working. So I think this year they already have the cushion of 5 victories now, and they know. I think with MSD there, he knows how to get his team over the line, and I think they finished 7th last year, but that's the only time they've not qualified for the playoffs. So I think it's barring the 2 years that they were suspended for. So I think I don't think it will be an issue. I expect them to get through.
Yeah, MSD again in a new role of mentor. I think he's the only active player, retired player who's going to be a mentor also. So let's see how he fares up again. And what do you think? Any surprise entries in the playing 11 this time around for them? And they have the services of both the English players, Sam Curran and Moeen Ali, unlike other teams where the English players are backed off recently.
Yeah, I think Moeen Ali played brilliantly. I think in the first
Absolutely,
leg of the game. I think it's carrying on the template of you leave RCB and you play well. I think that's what happened with him, and he's really well. I think he really played really well. I think I think they used him really well at the number 3, and he's fluent best. I'm hoping they'd give K. Gautam a run because they bought him for a hefty price and not to warm the benches. So I think he's a utility player. I think he's an all-rounder. Gives you can bank on him to give 4 overs and hit the long ball at number 8, number 9. I think is a bit unfair for him, but I would say I think K. Gautam deserves a chance, and maybe I think he will get a look.
I think there's some news of Faf du Plessis carrying some injury, niggle from the CPL. So, and there's talks of Robin Uthappa getting his first game for CSK. How do you see that going?
Robin Uthappa, I think with Ruturaj Gaikwad didn't start off all that well. There were talks that he's going to come in after the third or the fourth game, and then.
But MS, right? He backs his player to the hilt.
Yeah. I mean that's
once he gives
the hallmark. Yeah, I think Ruturaj Gaikwad played well against SRH. I think that's the game he sort of turned it around. But now Robin Uthappa is an experienced seasoned campaigner. I think he's played 14. I mean, this is his 14th season, so I think it's not nothing new to him. I think nothing beyond him. So I even if he plays, I think I'm sure he's going to do well.
Don't forget, he was the orange cap also in that victorious season for KKR. If I'm not mistaken, probably the only orange cap winner whose team has ended up on the as a top spot. So
yeah, that's the point.
Record. Yeah. Okay. So what's your prediction for CSK? Do you see them in the top half or at the bottom half of the table by the end of the league? Where do you see them finish?
I believe the top 4 will go to. I hope there's a bit. It's not as straightforward as what I'm saying, because that's going to make the tournament a bit boring. But I don't think there are going to be many party spoilers this time around.
Okay, so all CSK fans get ready for that whistle podu, hoping for a better time in UAE this time around. Okay, so let's move on. So yeah, this is an interesting team now. Delhi Capitals, top of the table. Interesting because they have the regular skipper back. Shreyas Iyer, if you remember, he led them pretty well. He led them to runners-up position last time, and he's coming back from injury. But still, they have decided to go ahead with Rishabh Pant. So, how do you see that move, Varun? Would you have gone in with Iyer or Pant as a skipper?
Yeah, I think with the gap of 3 to 4 months, I think I would have. I think no one would have held it against Delhi had they replaced Pant with Iyer, especially what he has done in the last 2 seasons. Quite surprised, but I think it shows a vote of confidence for Rishabh Pant. I think it's been a classic example of Rishabh Pant. I think they got him in 2016. Shreyas Iyer, they got him in 2015, and look 5 to 6 years down the line, both of them are here playing for India, playing for leading the franchising. So I think it's a great I think credit for the Delhi management for having identified and invested in the players.
And one special player I have to mention, Ravi Ashwin, having made back to the Indian team for the T20 World Cup. If I'm not mistaken, I've already told my viewers in the last video, Varun has a special acquaintance with Ravi Ashwin. So how do you see Ashwin going forward in this lineup?
Yeah, I think for champion bowler he is, I'm sure he's going to do well. And
you must be very happy for him, right? For coming back into the team.
Yeah, I mean, he has been doing well. I think the reason he went off the team was there was a sudden theory that finger spinners are no longer effective in limited overs cricket, and I couldn't sort of understand. How do you put down a particular skill as being non-functional or dysfunctional in today's cricket? So I'm really happy that he's back, and I have no doubt that he's going to do well. I think with the experience he has and the street smartness the abilities he possesses, so I think he's going to really do well. And I think with more number of games he plays, I'm pretty sure he's going to walk into this Delhi 11. So I think leading into the World Cup, I think it's going to help him, keep him in good stead as well.
Yeah, completely agree with you. It's pretty ironical, right? Ashwin actually made his breakthrough into the Indian team from the T20 format and went on to become a successful bowler that he is now in Test cricket. So he's been successful in T20 cricket, yet he was not in the reckoning for all this while. But yes, we are all happy for him that he's returned to the Indian team. Apart from him, one more player I want to pick on is Shikhar Dhawan. Already dropped from the Indian team. How do you see him pairing up in this tournament? Already he's the leading run scorer. Actually, he's the top of the table in orange cap. So how do you see the tournament for him, Shikhar Dhawan?
Yeah, I think not. I think he's been part of Indian ICC tournaments since 2013. I think every tournament,
Yes.
ICC tournament has been some sort of a lifeline for Shikhar Dhawan. I think every time you've written him off, I think he's come good in ICC tournaments of all tournaments. So
Yes.
really, I mean, I'm not surprised that he wasn't in the 15, but it's difficult to sort of imagine an Indian 11 without Dhawan in an ICC tournament of late. So I
Yes.
think has he got a point to prove? Is it going to spur him on to do well? I don't know, and especially I think the opening partnership of Delhi has been really going all guns blazing with Prithvi Shaw and Shikhar Dhawan, left-right combination, good stroke makers. So I think I think he will do well. But I don't know. I mean, it's a funny thing, sometimes he doesn't do well, and I think everyone points at the selectors were right to have dropped him. So it's a bit of a tricky situation for Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah, don't forget that with all the COVID around and with new playing rule conditions, ICC has allowed last minute changes up till 10th of October. So any player doing well again might be in the reckoning to make a comeback again to the Indian team. Okay, so no surprises, right? Delhi seems pretty settled, and you expect them to continue in the top of the table.
Yes, I would say they are. I mean, for me, I feel they are the favorites. I think having Ricky Ponting, I think look what it has done for them. That winning culture, I think an Aussie having won every time. And I was just wondering, I think with all due respect, would RCB have gone for him in 2017? I think I was thinking, geez, I mean, you had to let go of Daniel Vettori. I was hoping because you see different sports. You see in football, Jose Mourinho, wherever he goes, he's going to win it. In that winning mentality and having been there and done it, Ricky Ponting has won every trophy that's been in the cabinet. So, I think with Ricky Ponting and the youngsters coming in and having played well in the last 2 seasons as well, I expect them to probably go all the way.
Well, not to forget that Punter has not quite won T20 World Cup. I think Australia will keep aiming to prove that wrong this time around. So just to touch on the coaching aspect, given that Ravi Shastri is going down, means he's quitting his position after the T20 World Cup. Do you see Punter as a front runner for the role in Indian team also?
No, I don't think so.
Just to deviate?
Okay. No, I don't think so. I think with what has happened previously, I don't think a character as strong as Ricky Ponting is going to be in charge of Indian cricket team.
Especially given Dada is still at the helm and that Indo-Australian pair doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, we all know who has the veto.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Delhi Capitals, we are looking pretty settled. So let's move on. My screen is visible, right? Yeah. Okay. So now Punjab Kings, they changed their name, but not quite with the fortunes. They are still languishing at the bottom of the table. So what do you think about this team, Varun? KL Rahul, the majestic batsman that is always seems to get runs in the IPL at the top of the order. They seem to have a gun batting lineup with the likes of Rahul, Nicholas Pooran, David Malan. David Malan has withdrawn. Nicholas Pooran, Mayank Agarwal, Shah Rukh Khan. It's a gun batting lineup, but still don't quite get the results. What do you think? Deepak Huda did pretty well last time. Yeah,
Nicholas Pooran had a horror show in the first game. I hope he turns it around. I think they are a team of two halves, you can say. I think top 6 bat don't bowl. The last 5 ball don't bat. So it's difficult. I think they've tried Moses Henriques also as an all-rounder, and it didn't. And they tried Jalat Saxena. I was happy that he got a game. I think for a great domestic servant who has played the Ranji Trophy for such a long period. Done well. Not getting an IPL game was a bit of a shame. So I think now that I think what they lacked was probably they had a good 2 fast bowlers in Jai Richardson and Riley Meredith, but I think Indian conditions sort of didn't suit them, and if in conditions doesn't suit them, I don't think it's going to change anything better in the Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, and Dubai. So I think who's going to partner Mohammad Shami? I think they relied. I think they Arshdeep Singh performed above. I think punched above his weight. To be honest, I think he really played well.
Chris Jordan. He had a couple of good games. Yeah.
Yes, but I'm not such a I mean, I wouldn't go into the game
Okay.
backing him to win the
Confident
game.
about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think there's someone like, for example, a Mitchell Stark or a Kavgis or a Bada or a Patrice Cummins. You need someone to be a fiery fast bowler. I mean, not just to run in and bowl 145. I think you also need to, I think so many of the games are going to be decided in the 17th to 20th over. You need experience. You need someone to hold their nerve there. And that's where I feel they lack it. I think the top four is going to be, I think it's power packed batting lineup, but after that it's a bit scary.
Yeah, the team fortunes seem to be mirroring the RCB of old. Not only the team fortunes, even the team jersey also. But however bad their season is going, whenever they face up RCB, they seem to do well. They also beat RCB in the first game of this season. So let's see how they pair up this time. How about any changes in the team? Like, do you see any major changes or any surprise entries? They still back Sarfaraz Khan. Sarfaraz Khan, would you keep him in the 11?
I think top four is going to be there, so I don't think of having and Shah Rukh Khan played really well. I think Shah Rukh Khan, so you have that 5 or 6 guaranteed. So I don't think Sarfaraz Khan without having the ability to bowl. So with no option to bowl, I don't think he's going to get an opportunity. So is Mandeep Singh. I mean, good player, but I'm quite surprised that why I don't understand. Of late, top order batsmen not bowling. I don't see anyone in Indian team bowling. You pick a name, they don't bowl. Like, for example, I think growing up in the 90s to in early 2005, you had Sehwag, Ganguly, Yuvraj, Tendulkar. I mean, that gave the luxury
that
of
successful phase of Indian team from 2003 to early 2000s. It was completely with just 4 bowlers, I think, and 5th bowler job was done by all the names that you mentioned now.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I'm really surprised. Why don't they roll their arm over? And it's something that could give an edge in walking into 11. If it's like X versus Y, whom to pick, whom not to pick. I think. See, suppose Sarfaraz Khan was someone who could bowl good off spinners. Not, I mean, for example, Deepak Hooda does that. I think that.
Deepak Hooda.
I think so. I think Deepak
I think they have tried to fill in that job with the likes of Fabian Allen and Ashdeep Singh and Moises Henriques and even Deepak Hooda, but not of the same quality of someone like a Kieron Pollard or any other all-rounder like Shardul Thakur that is doing now for the Chennai Super Kings, or even Ravindra Jadeja for that matter.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if Anil Kumble, the leg spinner, will pick 3 leg spinners now with Ravi Bishnoi, Adil Rashid, and Murugan Ashwin.
Murugan Ashwin, yes. Yeah. They bowled pretty well in tandem, both these guys, Bishnoi and Ashwin, last time around.
Yeah. Fantastic, bro. Though he bowls 5 out of 6 in googlies, but he still is able to bowl really well.
Yeah, his top spinner is the googly actually. So, anyway. Let's see, Punjab Kings. So you reckon they'll be again continuing in the bottom of the table, right?
Yeah, and having played 8 games, they've already played the 8th game.
Yeah, they've played the 8th game along with DC. Yeah.
So, I mean, if there's one team that I want to break into top 4, it would be Punjab. I mean, that's a hope. I'm not saying they will.
Yeah.
If I had a chance to put one team in for any other team apart from RCB, I think it would be Punjab.
Okay, so let's see how Punjab Kings do. And moving on, KKR, pretty bad season. First half of the season in India, and a lot of controversies around their captaincy, and Kuldeep Yadav coming in open and criticizing his role in the team and how he was handled with the captaincy and everything. So, how do you see this team now with Dinesh Karthik relinquishing his captaincy last time in Dubai, Owen Morgan taking over? Now Tim Southee has come up without Pat Cummins, their premier bowler. So how do you see this team, Varun?
I think if there were 2 teams that were desperate for a break, that happened was KKR and SRH, and they got their break. So I think they didn't look like a team. They look like individuals. Like team are dependent on individuals. They always thought Russell will take off and get them, or Pat Cummins will win them the game, or Owen Morgan. There was not a collective effort, like not a core of the team coming together on a consistent basis. You had playing on one player playing on it's his day, but not the other team chipping in, other team members chipping in. So I think it's as good as gone. I think they
Yeah.
have 2 out of 7 if I get it right. So it's a really uphill task for them to get through to the playoffs.
But they still have those talisman West Indians with them. That is Sunil Narayan and Dreyeras. Any fireworks expected from them? Do you see Dreyeras carrying them again, or it's beyond his capabilities also?
I think
Because he
been
did
carrying them
struggle
for a
last
long
time in Dubai, right? He did struggle last time in UAE. He players sort of found him out with short delivery and everything.
I think he's been carrying them for a long time now. So I think it's
Yes.
I think the top order as well. Shubman Gill didn't play well. Although I expect him to make up for make up for the first half of the season with Tripathi and with Nitish Rana. And I still believe that you need to have an established international player, be it an Indian or an overseas player, batting into the top 3. There are very few teams that have that I think a similar thing. If you can roll back the clock and see in 2016 when Delhi they had a fantastic young lineup: Sanju Samson, Karun Nair, Mayank Agarwal, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, but they couldn't get off to those starts. They had Quinton de Kock then to sort of.
They were led by Zahir Khan also that time. Yeah.
Yes, so I think it's similar. If I could draw comparisons, so good young team member, young players, but this is not play school for play home. So I think you need to. This is a big boys game. So I firmly believe that they have to bring in something. And with McCullum, who's known to spring a rabbit out of the box. So I'm hoping this do something.
Even though the season might look as it's pretty much gone, but keep an eye out for Varun Chakravarti, the mystery bowler. He's been selected for the World Cup. Let's see how he fares up after being selected. It's one thing to be playing as an unknown player, but now that the spotlight is on you and you've already earned the place in the World Cup squad, let's see how he performs now.
Is there a yo-yo test on the corner? Or is it done?
Now that Virat has given up the captaincy, I don't think there's any yo-yo test again. Just kidding. Okay, so let's see the next team. Rajasthan Royals. Sanju Samson leading them, and he had that controversial thing where he denied that single run to Chris Morris at the end of the match. That could have been a deciding factor, but nevertheless, that match is well gone. But now that a lot of players have withdrawn from the IPL, Josh Butler has withdrawn for these guys, and even Ben Stokes is not available. So pretty much a lack of players for them. But how do you see? They're still pretty much in the middle of the table. They have a chance of making it to the top of, but due to lack of players, I don't think it's going to be so easy for them. What do you think, Varun?
I think they have two really Liam Livingstone and Evan Lewis this time. I think I think they can be their X factor now. I think, and I remember that in the last game they played, I think they mauled SRH at Filosha Kotla. And to watch Josh Butler and Sanju Samson play that day, and I'd made Josh Butler my fantasy league captain that day, and I reaped a lot of points. So
okay.
This team has become more like Sanju Samson, a single pillar team. I think it's very difficult for him to go out there and do it game after game. And if you see, there's a similar comparison to KL Rahul. People say it's KL Rahul led team, but he has a Gale, he has a Mayank Agarwal. But here, if you look around, there are, he is just Jaiswal, Manan Vora. There's Shivan Dubey, then Riyan Parag. This is all learning school for them. It's like an internship for them. But for them to win a game, Sanju Samson, I think. For example, if Sanju Samson had played for a different team, where a team as a Rohit Sharma, a Virat Kohli, or someone else, an MS Dhoni, I think he would have performed far better. I mean to say that now I think being the captain also it's very difficult for a youngster. So he's no longer a youngster if you see it by age, but still I'd say so. It's very difficult, but with I think no Butler, no Stokes, no Archer. So I think Liam Livingstone, who has a fantastic 100 tournament, I think has to start firing from the game one.
Well, just to play the devil's advocate here, Sanju Samson, although you say that he might do pretty well under the presence of seniors, but whenever given chance in the Indian team, is failed to live up to his expectations. So, what do you have to say on that?
I think if you see, he's been in for a long time, but he's not got so many opportunities. If you see, he's just played one ODI and he's got 46 there, and a couple of T20s, 4 or 5 T20s. So I think and that too, it's not it's.
But it's
not,
more with the way of his dismissal, right? He looks pretty settled. He keeps playing the gorgeous shots, the $1 million shot, as you say, but at the same time gets out to an unnecessary shot, bit like Rohit Sharma of the old.
Don't you think that doesn't remind you of Indian captain in waiting? So I think that's the beauty of the game. I think you have. I think Sanju Samson, if you see a particular kind of player getting out in a particular way, I think you can give that luxury to Sanju Samson. I think that's what makes the batting look so easy, so effortless. So I think he's too good a player not to be in the Indian team for me. I think when he's on song, I don't think. I mean, he's a top 5 Indian batters if he's on song. But that's the question. I think if he's on song, it's a hypothetical question. So I firmly believe that I think next 2 years he has to establish himself. I think, or else you might say the ship has sailed. So I expect him to do well. I think if there's one team that can sort of break into the top 4
and upset,
at the expense of CSK, if I can change what I told a few minutes back, I said the top 4 would go through. If there's one team that sort of can get crushed and be a I think party spoiler, I'd pick RR in place of CSK.
Yeah, not for anything that Gautam Gambhir was up for the debate that Sanju Samson is the best wicketkeeper batsman while MSG was playing actually. So as you say, Sanju Samson needs to deliver this time. So let's see. Moving forward, SRH. Once again, captaincy issues. David Warner was the captain at the start of the tournament. He was asked to sit out midway through, and Kane Williamson took over. He started off with an injury actually, but once he came back, he was the captain. But again, having lots of issues in the team, many batsmen failing to live up to their expectations, problems with the bowling as well. T. Natarajan, fitness issues. Rashid Khan has been the standout bowler, but they have that issues of the 4 overseas players like Mohammad Nabi has played sometimes. Sometimes Jason Holder has played, and even Mujibur Rahman is there. So, but not quite hit the right combination. What do you think, Varun? Manish Pandey is also not delivered. Yeah.
As you told, they have been in a bit of a mess. Started off as David Warner's captain. And I remember Manish Pandey was dropped after 2 games, and he was asked why. And he said it was not his choice; it was the selector's choice. And I was wondering who the selectors is in the IPL.
He played a pretty slow innings in one of the matches, and I think that yeah, correct.
But it was a Chennai wicket. It's not a Mumbai wicket where he played at a strike rate of 110. It was a Chennai wicket, and you need one to anchor it. And it was not a big. It was, I think, 140, 150 with chase. I think for someone to get a 60, 70 of at a strike rate of 110 to 115 is acceptable. So I think it's sort of. I think it's the standard Manish Pandey set, and he himself probably hasn't lived up to it. And to be honest, low, slow spinning tracks are not his forte. I think. So then they had the change of captaincy with Kane Williamson coming in. I think they have to get David Warner in. I think the last game they played with no Bairstow now. David Warner will work. So Bairstow, Williamson will be taking the 2 spots, and Rashid Khan, what a bowler is. So I don't think there's any debate about it. So I think the 4th spot again, it's the Nabi or Mujibur Rahman or is it Jason Holder. I think, to be fair, Jason Holder did really well against RCB in the last eliminator, if I can say. So I don't know what their combination is, and also I would also keep an eye on Abdul Samad. I think last season he really played well. I think the way he's a free-stroking batsman. If they really have an issue with I think the run rate and Manish Pandey not being the enforcer, I think maybe they can try Abdul Samad up the order if a wicket falls. So.
The beauty of this IPL is that now that we are playing it in 2 halves, the conditions completely change. And if you remember, last time around, SRH was the successful team they were pretty successful actually in Dubai. Now that they are going back to Dubai again with conditions favoring them, do you see any chance of a turnaround in the table in their fortunes, or do you expect them to continue languishing?
I think they'll do better than what they did in the first half, but to expect them to go to the playoffs, no, I don't think so, because 2 out of 7, and it's difficult. With I think the top 3 have sort of pulled away with 5 victories and 6 victories for the Delhi. So I think the top 3 have some sort of have one foot in the playoff, unless they spoil it for themselves. So as I told, there's only one probably contentious spot, maybe CSK, Falter, or some other team. But with 2 victories, I think they'll have KKR fighting for it. They have Rajasthan Royals fighting for it. They have KL Rahul's Punjab fighting for it. So I don't think I can put this team ahead of, for example, like Rajasthan Royals or Punjab Kings.
Another interesting point that just came to my mind is, although some of the teams might have their fortunes already finalized, will be for the start of the tournament, but still, given the next season coming up with 2 new teams in the play and even the big auction, a lot of fringe players will be hoping to make a name for themselves and dream of big cash in the auctions. What do you think?
Yes, I think it's going to be an audition for some of them. I think I think there's so many of them. They're going to get a game or 2 here and there, and in a situation where they may not be able to showcase their skills and talent. So I think each player will be trying to do well, because, as you told, it's mega auction coming in, and not to forget, I think this time with COVID, there have been a lot of net bowlers which the teams are carrying. So I think the team management would have identified a few players in amongst them as well. So the talent pool is wider now. So I think it's cutthroat competition, like it always has been. So, and more so now. So with 2 teams, yes, I think in the scouting network, I think will be all over the new players and who's going to be the next big thing. So I think each player has to make a name for himself and put in a good show.
All right, I think a lot of audience have been waiting for RCB, so I've kept them at the last, the best for the last. Okay, Varun, so let's discuss about RCB. First things first, Captain Virat Kohli, given up the captaincy in the T20 format, and has already expressed his opinion to open in the World Cup. So how do you see Virat Kohli faring up in this tournament?
Yeah, I think it's a little strange. To go into this, I think it's sort of added a new variable in the equation now. When you say you're going to say that going into the IPL, now that that announcement has been made that he's going to relinquish his captaincy after the World Cup. So it's going to be interesting how he fares. I think is it going to free him up, or is he going to be worried, or is it going to be something on his mind that he ponders over. So yes, I think Virat Kohli has a lot on his plate now. So yeah, I think it's. I think the 5 victories out of the 7 games has sort of given a cushion going in, and also I think RCB have been fortunate that people who are not going to be part of the tournament, we've got roped in good replacements, and also we have not lost our core, in the sense our top 4 players. I think Kane Richardson played only solitary game. Adam Zampa didn't play a single game. So I think we have been sort of fortunate in that.
Okay, another player who's waiting to prove a point is Yuzvendra Chahal. He had a very good tournament last time in those big grounds in Dubai as well as Abu Dhabi. So how do you think Yuzvendra Chahal will fare up?
I think I was really surprised not to see him in 15. I think he's a champion bowler. I think
he's the highest wicket taker by the way. In the T20 format at least. Yeah.
Yes, and a wicket taking bowler, and I hardly see him go wicketless, and it's hard to say does he deserves a chance or doesn't deserve a chance. But for RCB, he's our number 1 bowler. Make no mistake about it. Whenever a wicket is required, throw the ball to Yuzvendra Chahal and he's going to turn his magic. So I think he will have a point to prove. And we don't know. What if something happens to? Let's hope it's not the case. But Rahul Chahar or someone. I think he's the spinner in waiting. If some spinner picks up an injury, I think Yuzvendra Chahal will be the first replacement. I think he'll be charged up to do well for himself as well.
Yeah, another player I want to discuss. I know all you Punjab fans don't want to hear this, but yeah, Glenn Maxwell, outstanding start to the tournament, playing ahead of AB at number 4. It's seemed to have done him wonders of good. So, Glenn Maxwell, you think he'll bowl a lot more this time around? Pretty surprised he didn't bowl much in India, but given that now we don't have a Sundar in the team, you foresee Glenn Maxwell rolling his arm over more this time around?
Yes, I think he bowled a few times for Australia as well in the power play, the new ball.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I think I think he will play a more pronounced role going forward. And I think I was thinking the word you associate with Glenn Maxwell is sometimes critics would say inconsistency. So I was actually fearing when I was watching the first 7 games. Okay, he started off really well. Will he be able to continue to 14 or 16 or 17 games? But now that gives me a hope that okay, we had a break. Now I think he'll see it as probably a next 7-game tournament, and who knows? He might have another.
I don't think he's played any cricket in between, right? He missed all the Aussie tournaments in between. I think his fresh up break. He's not played any match after IPL also.
Yes, he hasn't played any. So let's hope that he goes all guns blazing again.
Okay, so now let's get to the replacements first. What do you think on the new recruits, Hasranga and Chamira, the Sri Lankan recruits?
Yeah, I think Hasaranga, he's played really well. I think especially a leg spinner, wicket-taking leg spinner. I think I was watching some of his after he got picked by RCB. I was watching some of his YouTube clips and the way he bowled to Pakistan. I was at Pakistan in some of the tournaments. His googly turns big, and Pakistan batsmen were failing to pick him up. So I think another wicket-taking option. I think we had Adam Zampa as well. Didn't utilize him as much as we should have, probably, in my opinion. So I think Hasaranga will fight for the 4th spot.
And Chamira, you think he can solve our death bowling woes? Although Siraj has been doing pretty well, and even Harshal Patel, although he's the purple cap, but still he has been missed on quite a few occasions, especially against Chennai. So you need a good partner for Mohammad Siraj. I know Jamieson is there, but that fire quick bowler who can bowl those Yorkers at a 140 speed, you think Chamira can get a game or two?
I think Chamira reminds me a lot of Nuwan Pradeep, who was there in our squad for 2-3
years. Exactly.
Game. So might will be the case again. So I don't think I think though ideally you would want a proper out and out fast bowler as your 4th overseas player. We had Daniel Sams, he was a good bowler. We unfortunately miss him now. So I think Chamira, with Kyle Jamieson, I think I get a feeling that they're going to back Navdeep Saini to be that over Dushan Chamira. Though he's an international player, so is Saini. So there's not much to choose over Chamira and Saini. I think they'll go for Saini, Siraj, Patel, Jamieson, and the rest. So I think they might keep use the 4th for Hasaranga or maybe Tim David.
Well, just to let the audience know that both me and Varun are complete RCB fans, so that's why we are dwelling more on RCB and talking about each player. So another player I want to talk is Devdutt Padikkal. That means the upcoming player, the new young emerging player of the season last time around in UAE. He was a bit unknown factor last time, but now that he's had one successful season and also started off well, means not quite all matches, but he had that century in Wankhede, if I don't mistake. So how do you see DDP playing this time?
Now he's an Indian player, so I think the chest is going to be wider and you walk taller. So I think now he's with having played for India. I think start of the season, I think he had a COVID, and then he came into Chennai and sort of didn't start. And once they shifted to Mumbai, I think he really went well. So I think I expect him to I think the last season the problem was he used to get to those 40s and 50s and taper off after that, with struggling with timing for the power. And you can expect him in the first season, debut season. So I think this time he'll be more ready and more experienced, and I think you expect him to do well.
Yeah, another thing that has always been an Achilles heel for RCB has been the Indian batsmen in the middle order. They tried to fill in that spot with Rajat Patidar, Prabhu Desai, and Mohammad Azharuddin. Azharuddin didn't play any matches last time around, but Patidar played a couple of matches. I think he contributed in one of the matches with a useful 30, but still not yet cemented his spot. You see any this one potential for changes there, Varun? Given Sachin Baby has also played for RCB in 2016 campaign. Anyone among these four, Patidar, Prabhu Desai, Baby, and Azharuddin, anyone who can solve that middle order Indian batsman role?
I think Rajat Patidar batted at number 3, and as you told, he played well in one game. I think they would give him one more chance before moving on to someone else because he's already been tested, and also having I think he's up the pecking order, so as to say, because he's already played. So I think Suyash, Prabhu Desai, or Sachin Baby have to wait. Maybe Mohammad Azharuddin can be some sort of a gamble, to set the cat among the pigeons. I think I've heard that he's it really long, so maybe he might do maybe he'll do what Shah Rukh Khan did for Punjab. I think he played well batting in number 0, but you never know. I think it also depends. I think if Kohli and Devdutt Padikkal play for 8-9 overs, I don't think they're going to play the number 3 as Rajat Patidar, whoever it is. It's going to be Maxwell walking in. So that's quite a little tricky as well. Would you want to have a pure batsman or someone like Azharuddin or maybe Pawan Deshpande? Keep it because he's also going to give you off spinners.
I wanted to bring up, so now that you brought up, you see Pawan Deshpande breaking in this time, given that he's a Kannadiga and all RCB fans want Kannadigas to be playing again for RCB. It's been a long time since anyone has played. I know Devdutt Padikkal is a Kannadiga, but apart from him, no one has really played.
Yeah, it's a little disheartening that he hasn't played. You play and fail, that's another matter. But for
he's been like from 2-3 seasons,
and yet not getting a look in. This is something that's really disappointing. You see, people coming in and getting a look in, like Patidar or someone else. So I think, who knows? I think number 3 might well be Shahbaz Ahmed, because you have that luxury. He bats 2-3 overs. And definitely gives you 2-3 overs as a bowler and a very good
left arm spin.
Yeah, left arm spin. I think that goes for him. So we might as well play him at number 3 again. Who knows? But Pawan Deshpande, I don't think so. It's difficult.
One interesting name that I want to bring up is Tim David. A lot of people seem to be talking of him, and I did see him playing in CPL, and man, he can hit them big. A long, hefty player with big arms and big shoulders, and he can hit the ball really long. I just hope that he doesn't succumb to the pressures of the IPL, the big stage. But have you seen Tim David enough, Varun? And even George Latton, for that matter, a pretty unknown factor. Have you seen both of them play before?
Yeah, to be very honest, I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen a couple of YouTube clips. But I think that's too small a sample size to pass a judgment on them. But yes, the hype around Tim David seems to be real. Since a lot of people have been talking about him with his exploits and then the recent T20 tournament. So, who knows? He might get a look in, and I think you remember last time we had Josh Philippe, and we had Finn Allen didn't play though, I think so. Now we have got Tim David, so hopefully I think he gets a chance. I think that's what I think they're all going to vie for that 4th spot with Kyle Jamieson, AB de Villiers, Maxwell. I think initially, first 2-3 games, I think those 3 will be the first. I think it depends on the rest of the combination. If you are backing Navdeep Saini to be your fast bowler, I think then it will be between Hasaranga and Tim David. So I don't know who's going to get the nod. But I think if Tim David, I think if he gets a chance, I think it has to be 5 or 6, depends. I think after ABD, I think to finish in the slog overs. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, one interesting point to note is that if RCB make it to the playoff, they will not have Hasaranga and Chameera available because they will be off to Sri Lankan duties for the qualifiers of the World Cup. So they will lose their services, and as you said, that might be the chance for anybody like Tim David. Although I don't see RCB taking a chance in the stages of playoff, but Sri Lankan players won't be available in the playoff stages of the tournament. Okay, having spoken of most of the players, how can we not speak about AB de Villiers, the 360-degree player, Mr. 360 AB de Villiers, the Apat Bandhava, if I can say, for RCB. So, Varun, what is your take on AB de Villiers? Can he deliver once again at the back end of his career? Is almost expressed his desire to give up even league cricket. There are some rumors that this might be his last IPL. We hope it is not. But what do you think, AB de Villiers? Can he deliver once again for RCB? I think he'll also be in the wicket keeping role. So, how do you see him doing in the tournament now?
There's not one thing that's suggesting that he won't deliver. I think
Yes.
he's champion.
His name sort of also matches that, right? De Villiers delivers always.
Yeah, we would say that's a good one.
Yes.
As with him being a wicketkeeper, I doubt with his age and at harsh conditions in the UAE, I think yes, ideally if he plays, he's going to open up a spot, but I don't think he's going to be doing his wicket-keeping duties. But
Okay.
I won't rule. I won't
Then
rule
who do you
it.
think will be filling up that spot, wicket keeping?
Yeah, that's an issue as well.
That
now,
that
so.
that, that makes Azharuddin or KS Bharat the only other choices left, or even Finn Allen can make that. But if ABD don't want to keep wickets, then I see Azharuddin making it to the team. Anyway, getting back to ABD, go on, Varun. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you expect him to do well again. I think there's not, as I told, there's not one thing to suggest that he's not going to do well. So he's been as Harsha Bhogle keeps mentioning, that Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers have been two giant trees under whose shadow not many have sort of prospered. So I mean, they've been champions. I hope it's not his last tournament. I hope he continues to entertain not just RCB fans. I think there's one popular cricketer across all IPL teams. It's AB de Villiers, and I hope if at all he goes out, I hope he goes out in front of Chinnaswamy Stadium with fans chanting ABD.
Yes, that is so true. That would be a ultimate romantic scene for any cricket fanatic like you, and even for me. But I just wish he could have even made it to the World Cup of a South African team, given the state that they are now. Actually, there were a lot of talks also of him making it into the team, but unfortunately he pulled out. So, having discussed everyone in RCB, so what do you think, Varun? You see RCB making it to the at least finals this time, and even going on to win the championship?
I think once you go into the playoffs, I think it's anyone's game. But I think making it to the top two is should be the priority. I mean, should be your priority. So I sort of expect a Delhi RCB finals.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's prediction time now. So let's just officially start off the predictions. So your finalists.
Finalists, I would say Delhi and RCB.
Okay, Delhi RCB, and if I can ask even the champions?
You know who I'm going to put my money on.
Absolutely. So I totally reflect your emotions again. And let me also get to the orange cap and the purple cap. Let's have a prediction for that also. Given that Shikhar Dhawan is leading now, you see him continuing there again, or anyone overtaking him?
I think
I hope any RCB player can do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shikhar Dhawan. I think having a good successful team also helps. I think going into the game with confidence, with having your constant opening pair also is going to help. And I don't think Delhi are going to meddle with Shaw and Dhawan. So I believe that's one factor that's going to help Dhawan, but I don't think Maxwell is too far behind as well. So who knows?
Yes.
And UAE is I think last time 2014 he really played well. Okay, 20 he didn't play all that well. So, and remember 14 it was his first season with Punjab, and this is his first season with RCB. So who knows?
And one other thing to note is always the purple cap winner team ends up winning the tournament. And now that we have the purple cap on our side with Harshal Patel, I just hope that statistics lives up to its expectations.
I wouldn't put my money on Harshal Patel.
Harshal Patel.
And,
Was it a surprise for you, like how we began so well with all those slow cutters, and especially playing in Chennai? It actually worked in his favor. Actually, don't you think
yes,
so?
but to be very frank, I'll put my hand up and say I didn't expect him to do as well as he's done.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you ask him, probably he would say the same thing, but that's for another day. So I didn't expect him to do all that well, and I think having the purple cap is showing that your bowling unit is firing, and that's something that RCB hasn't had over the years. I think we haven't even competed for purple cap for I don't know how long. So
I think Yuzvendra Chahal might have had some chances somewhere in 2016 or 17, and even Vinay Kumar in the early
stages. Kumar in 2010.
Vinay Kumar. Yes, yeah. Along with Anil Kumble and the legendary team, I think he was sometime delivering for this one purple cap. But apart from that, none of the other
we haven't been in contention. So I think it's a sort of it's signifying that our bowling unit has been doing well. But I think going forward, I think if you expect Harshal Patel to take your game over across the line every game, I think that's too much to ask for.
Yeah, and one last thing, given that Kohli has relinquished the T20 captaincy, do you think even for RCB, this is going to be his last season as a captain?
I personally don't think so.
Okay.
I think IPL is a short tournament, to be honest. It's not going. I think workload is something that he mentioned in his post. So I think RCB captaincy is something that is not going to. I think he'd want to win one because it's also a perception. I think ego thing. One if he relinquishes.
Especially for a player like Virat, right? He always wants to make that statement right in your face and prove you wrong.
Yeah. Been here for 14 years. He would like to deliver the fans the trophy. I think it takes as a responsibility. I think every time in the beginning of the season, he's always showed how much RCB means to him. How much he's grown over the years. I think his international career, club career, his journey as a cricketer has been sort of as a passenger with the RCB. So it's good. I don't think he's going to relinquish his captaincy, and I hope not.
Yeah, we also hope not, and we actually hope that he can lift the trophy this time around and give a befitting reply to all his critics. So anyway, thank you, Varun, for detailed analysis on all the teams, and we wish that the IPL can continue smoothly without any hiccups, with especially COVID around, and we can hope for a great tournament this time. So thank you so much, Varun.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.